time, the Commonwealth will call Doug Calabrese. Face the clerk, raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give to this court and the jury in the issue between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you. Right this way, sir. Thank you. Sir, in a loud, clear voice, could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury, spelling your last name for the record?
My name's Douglas Calabrese, C-A-L-A-B-R-E-S-E.
Where do you currently work?
I work for a electronics manufacturer in Chelmsford called Accutronics.
Back in 2000 and I believe it's 16, sir, did you work at the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office?
Yes.
And in what capacity did you work at the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office?
I was a crime lab investigator for the computer crimes division.
And what sorts of training did you get at the Suffolk County Computer?
I was CCLO and CCPA certified through Celebrite, which was the main software we used, and I also had various NW3C trainings.
Okay. And what does that mean, practically speaking? What are you trained to do? In plain terms.
Examine electronic devices.
And at some point during the course of your investigation, in your employment at the Boston Police Crime Lab at the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, did you examine 3 phones?
I did.
And did you write a report based upon those 3 phones?
Yes.
Where may I approach?
Me.
So I'm going to show you a CDR. Do you recognize that CDR?
Yes.
And what is that CDR?
That would be one of the CDRs containing the report for this case.
Okay. If I may, I'd ask that that be marked as the next exhibit.
Hearsay, Your Honor.
So there's an objection.
Yes.
Mark it for identification.
Identification, sure. Yes. E, Your Honor. We're going to mark that. Identification. E. IDE, Your Honor.
Sir, is that screen in front of you working?
Yes.
Thank you.
The screen, before we publish anything to the jurors, are we not setting up a foundation for its admission?
I am just about to get to that, and I was just blanking the gallery and the jury, Your Honor. You recognize what's on this CDR?
Yes.
And that's what is that?
The folder we would put all of the contents of this this exam into.
Your Honor, if I may, just a technical, well, it's come up now on this one, but never mind.
We're not publishing it until it's admitted. That's why we're limiting its exposure. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So did you write a case report?
Objection.
No one can let him set up the foundation.
Yes.
And is this document is this document the report that you wrote when you analyzed the particular phone?
This was a report made by the software we used to do this examination.
Okay. And the software that you used in this particular case, what was the software?
It was called ZRT.
And what does ZRT allow you to do?
It just kind of helps streamline the process of photo documenting evidence and putting it into a report.
Sometimes there's evidence that you examine on a phone that that you can use Celebrite in that type of program. Is that right?
Correct.
And that'll take the information off the phone and to dump it, and then you can write a report from that. Is that right?
Correct.
In this particular case, was the phone that you were given, was that a phone that you could dump through Celebrite?
No.
Okay, so what was the next step you took in order to get the
My
information off?
benefit, if it was already asked, what is the phone that was examined? What number was it? What exhibit was it?
It is not into evidence yet, Your Honor. I've taken a witness out of order, so. The particular phone that you were given, what type of phone was it?
I do not know. It was a small phone.
Was it an LG phone?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And what did you do in order to examine the phone? Since you couldn't use Celebrite to dump the phone.
We set the phone up in front of our camera that's connected to the ZRT software and individually took photos of different contacts, text messages, other content on the device.
Did you take photographs of the information on that phone as well?
Yes.
You powered it up,
Yes.
turned it on,
Yes.
and went through the particular text and took photographs of them?
Yes.
And do you remember who gave you the phone?
It was Officer Medina.
And he provided a search warrant for that phone?
Yes.
Is there a question?
I'm just waiting for Mr. Kevin.
What are you going to do with the photographs?
I'm going to approach the witness with your permission, Your Honor. I'm going to show them to him. Let me approach him.
Were these photos not shown him before?
I have shown them to him, yes, sir. Take a look at the series of photographs there. So those are fair and accurate representation of the things that you saw on the screen when you took the photographs?
Yes.
I'd ask that these be marked as the next exhibit in
Any
the
objections?
series of
Bring
exhibits.
them over.
Just 1 second.
Judge, just for the record, any of this will be taken subject to our conversation? at the
Yes, it
sidebar?
will. It'll be subject under reservation.
Thank you.
I'm flipping the tape, so I didn't get that.
I'll repeat myself.
Your Honor, that's perfect. I'm in a great spot now. If you would be so kind, that'd be
I
awesome.
said that I will accept it with reservation de bene.
And that would be true of the rest of this presentation?
As we noted at the sidebar
Thank you.
conference.
Your Honor, may I get some direction from you? What exactly am I doing?
You are going to mark those as exhibits.
Okay. And,
There'll be one series, I think we could do it, so there's no,
Yes.
you don't want the next numbers?
you can put the next number, and then there'll be one entire exhibit. Am I correct that these are all from the same instrument?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you mean like 51A, B, C?
Yes.
I have to make those up.
What's easier for you?
Just go in numbers.
Straight numbers?
If you
Straight
have
numbers.
those made up.
Then do the straight numbers.
All right.
Okay.
And,
It could go in as a packet of photographs as well.
We're gonna do straight numbers, it's easier.
Okay.
Unless you want to just staple them and have it be one, I don't know.
I can do that.
Whatever you'd
Madam
like.
Clerk, can I borrow your
Do you
statement?
want just,
Yes, do you want
the
the
picture
one
on
or
the
your
staple, it'll
regular
be a
one?
fat package?
That's a,
One fat package coming right up.
All right.
I resemble that remark, but
I still don't know
I,
what to call it. I mean, call it.
a series of photographs, they're just photographs.
Series of photographs, that's as simple as you can get. All right.
There we go.
You're on a 51. Did it work? It worked. All right, 51.
that's why I put in the soup tomorrow.
So Mark, 51, series of photographs.
Sir, when you were examining that phone, did you get a phone number out of it?
Yes.
And what was the phone number out of that phone?
857-498-8629.
Let me ask, at this point, would you be asking to show the jurors the report in the other?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection to that? Put them on all the public screens then, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Just for the record, I think all the jurors have it too. So, sir, starting with the top of the PDF, so let me just back this up for half a second here. The CD is the ZRT is the name of the computer program that you use to examine the phone, is that right?
Correct.
And it got some very basic rudimentary information off that phone,
Yes.
and that generated a case report, is that correct?
Correct.
I'm going to show you now, double-clicking the case report that's on the CDR. Excuse me. That's your name at the top,
Yes.
and the investigating officer gave it to you as Medina.
Yep.
And you were able to get some very rudimentary information off of it. The network provider was T-Mobile and the telephone number,
Yes.
the model and the manufacturer,
Yes.
and the IMEI number as well.
Yes.
And then you took screenshots as you went through, is that right?
Correct.
In the series of photographs that have been marked DeBene as exhibit number 51, those are the screenshots that are seen in the ZRT report.
Yes.
Going back to the folder as well, there's also a series of pictures as well. Let's start with incoming text message 1. These are the screenshots that you took personally, sir.
Yes.
And when it indicates incoming text messages, where did you find that in the phone?
Typically they are separated and identified in an inbox and an outbox. So I would have gone to that location and then selected which photo I was, like which kind of evidence I was taking a photo of.
And you took a digital photograph of the things that you thought were relevant, or told were relevant?
Yes.
Okay. And in particular, the report itself, you basically put the phone in a holder and take literal photographs of the information on the screen.
Correct.
And that's what's subjected to the report here, is that right?
Yes.
I'd ask that this CD also be marked as the next exhibit. Subject to the...
No objection.
Am I marking this, Your Honor?
Please. Who's that?
It's going to be 52, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, what was formerly IDE now becomes for the record 52, that adding so marked, 52.
I'm going to take further.
Carol?
Good afternoon, sir. You took pictures of certain text messages, is that right?
Correct.
Not all of the messages that were on the phone, correct?
No. Not
correct?
That's correct.
Someone was guiding you as to what pictures to take and which pictures not to take?
In some form, yes. There were, yes.
And who was that?
I do not recall.
Was that person in the lab with you as you were doing this?
Not actively, no.
Well, I'd like to get how you were told which pictures you were supposed to take and which pictures you weren't supposed to take.
In certain cases, there would be a time frame that was of interest, especially on these kind of cases where you manually have to take a photo of each and everything in that time frame. It can get to be quite large, so they typically focus it down to what is relevant.
Given a time frame in this particular
I do not recall.
And were you told, so you've narrowed down to a time frame in general? and
Not
then-
specifically with this case. I don't know what the focus was, but that is something that is typical of these kinds of cases.
So you don't know how many messages you didn't photograph?
I do not.
And you don't know whether some of the things that you didn't photograph were relevant or not, do you?
I do not, but they are on the phone.
But you didn't take pictures of everything, did you?
No.
And do you don't remember what time frame you were given about this particular phone?
I don't remember, no.
Thank you. And that's true for all three of those exhibits, is that right? Or two exhibits is 51 and 52, is that right? Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Counsel?
Nothing further.
Thank you very much. You're excused. Announce your next witness, please.
At this time, the Commonwealth will call Jackie Masua.
Stand here, face the record, raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give this court and the jury in the issue between the Commonwealth and the defendant shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
Get this way. Sure. Yep. Sure.
Good morning, Anna.
Try that again.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
In the lack of voice, could you please introduce yourself to his honor and the members of the jury, spelling your last name for the record?
Sure. My name is Jacqueline Masua. Last name Massua.
What do you do for work, ma'am?
I work in the Boston Police Department Crime Laboratory Unit
And how long have you worked there for?
since May of 2007.
Could you briefly describe what kind of education you have?
Sure. I have a Bachelor's of Science degree from Suffolk University in biochemistry with a concentration in forensic science.
Have you received any expert training with regards to forensics?
Yes.
Objection to the characterization of the training, Your Honor.
Do it again. And you'll ask her background.
Sure. What type of training have you received with regards to forensics?
I've attended various internal and external trainings that deal with crime scene processing, as well as evidence descriptions, evidence examinations, as well as different areas within criminalistics, which crime scene processing, bloodstain pattern analysis, things like that.
During your time at the Boston Police Department, are you trained to examine clothing?
Yes, I am.
And what sorts of things do you look for with regards to clothing?
We'll typically do a general description of the item, noting the brand, the size of the item of clothing, as well as document any stains that we may see in the item.
Are you trained with regards to gunshot residue testing?
Yes, I am.
Could you please describe what your training is for gunshot residue?
We are trained to collect it off of individuals who may have possibly fired a firearm, as well as collect it from various articles of clothing as well.
With regards to clothing or individuals, is the same way you test for it? Is it the same?
Yes, that's correct.
Could you briefly describe how you test something for gunshot residue primer?
Yeah, so I don't test for it, I collect it. But I can describe that. I actually brought an example of a kit. If you'd like me to show that, I could.
Yes, please.
The kit consists of these stubs. So if we are collecting from a individual's hands or an article of clothing, say a shirt, maybe like a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt, we'll collect one stub from each hand or each cuff area of the item. So what happens is we will pull this off. There's a clear piece of tape that we'll remove, and we'll simply just press the sticky side along the person's hands or on the item of clothing.
Okay. And is there something sticky on that?
Yes, it's pretty much like a piece of tape.
Okay. And what do you do when you test clothing in particular?
So what I would do would be to remove the top part, remove the clear portion that's on this black piece of tape, and I would just press it firmly against the cuff areas of the item.
Is that similar to removing like hair off of a jacket sometimes with tape?
Yes, that's correct.
If I may approach briefly, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sure.
May I publish this as a chalk, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
This, you see what's in front of you?
Yes, I do.
In the side there.
Oops. Can I just move this up? Yes.
So just for the record, this is one of the gunshot primer. This section here that's black,
Yes.
that's the sticky part?
Yes.
When you put that on the clothing, is that right?
That's correct.
In this particular case, turning your attention to this particular case, I'm sorry, let me take a half step back. Are you also trained to examine articles of clothing for what's called wearer's DNA?
Yes, it's something that we may collect swabs from an article of clothing and send them on to DNA.
How do you collect articles of, how do you examine and collect samples from a piece of clothing for wearer DNA?
If we were collecting a sample for wearer DNA, I would take two just sterile cotton swabs. I would moisten them lightly with water and just firmly press it against the interior collar area and cuffs. For example, if I was doing a shirt or a sweatshirt, I would collect it from those areas.
Let me turn your attention to blood and other trace evidence. Are you trained in the examination of clothing for blood and other trace elements?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do to test if something's blood or not?
We have a chemical test that we use to test stains for the presence of blood.
And how do you do that?
I would, again, take a cotton swab, I would moisten it, and I would swab the stain so that some of the stain would transfer onto the cotton tip of the swab, and I would then apply the chemical, in which it's a color change test. So if it turns pink, it indicates a positive reaction, which means there is blood in the stain, and if there is no color change, it would indicate a negative result.
And the Boston Police Crime Lab, is that an accredited lab?
Yes, it is.
And what does that mean?
Accreditation is a voluntary process in which the crime laboratory has to be in compliance with over 400 standards. So we submit our procedures, policies, and every 4 years they will come to the lab and assess us just to make sure that we are following everything that we're, all our procedures and protocols and abiding by those standards that they set.
this particular case, were you assigned to process particular items of clothing?
Yes, I was.
What items of clothing were you assigned to process?
I was assigned to process various items that were collected from the victim as well as from the defendant.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as exhibit number 36.
Yes.
First of all, let me just take a half step back. Do you recognize that bag?
Yes.
And how do you recognize that bag?
This is item 3 for the case that I examined evidence for.
Is there an evidence tracking system in the Boston Police Department?
Yes, there is.
And can you briefly describe what that evidence tracking system does?
Sure. So when items of evidence are submitted to the crime laboratory, we will take custody of those items. They get a case number, and all of the paperwork and the evidence is maintained under this case number.
Okay. So this particular pair of gloves has a item number, is that correct? Item 3?
That's correct.
Okay. And the CC number is the central complaint number, but in plain terms that means the police report number?
Yes.
Okay. And the SLU number there, what does that mean?
The CLU is
sorry,
the
I apparently can't read this afternoon.
the CLU number is the crime laboratory unit number.
And the first 15 dash, does that indicate the year?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And turning this over on the back side here, there are some initials.
I'm just going to pick this up. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yep. No. That's good. Thank you.
See those initials on the back there?
Yes, I do.
And what do those indicate?
The ones that are under opened.
Yes.
That is when I opened the item of evidence for examination.
And there's also initials on the tape on the back as well.
Yes, that's correct.
And what is that significant?
That was when I resealed the item of evidence.
With regards to these, now showing you the item itself, do you recognize those items there?
Yes, I do.
And there's a tag on the side of that. What is that tag?
That tag indicates the case number, the item number, my initials, and the date that they were examined.
Did you examine those gloves in the crime lab?
Yes, I did.
And when did you do that?
On March 9th of 2015.
What did you do specifically in order to test those gloves?
I did a general description of the item as well as collect gunshot residue stubs from the item.
Okay. And how did you collect gunshot residue stubs from the item?
I pulled the top part off. I peeled the clear plastic off of this portion, and then I stubbed the palm areas as well as the back of the hand of both gloves.
And what did you do with those little containers?
They were sealed up in an envelope.
Where did those go?
They were picked up by a detective for testing at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory.
And were they eventually taken to the Massachusetts State Lab?
Yes, they were.
No, Your Honor.
Do you know whether or not they were taken to the State Police Crime Lab?
Yes, they were.
And when you're talking about going to the State Crime Lab, the only thing that goes is what I was using as a chalk, this container here,
That's correct.
and it's resealed up and sent.
That's correct.
May I approach you?
Wait. Ma'am, I'm going to show you some previously marked exhibit number 37. First of all, let's start with the bag. You recognize that writing in the...
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is this item?
It is a black jacket.
And there's another tag on the back of the black jacket, is that correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay, and what does that indicate?
Again, it has the case number, the item number, as well as the date and my initials that I processed it.
Okay, and what did you do to process this particular code, item 37?
I did a general description of the item.
Okay, and what else did you do?
Just indicated the brand, the size of the item.
All right, some point, were you given clothing from the hospital?
Yes, I was.
Start with a t-shirt. Okay. I may approach.
You may.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you an item here. You recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
And what is that item?
It was a T-shirt that I had received from the victim.
And what did you do to process that particular item?
I did a general description of the item as well as test a reddish-brown stain on the item for the presence of blood.
And what was the results of that test for the presence of blood?
It was positive.
And for the presentation in courtroom today, did you do anything specific with that T-shirt?
As far as examination, or?
Or did you mount that in plastic for the jury?
Yes, I did.
I'd ask that this be marked as the next exhibit.
Any objection? Mark it.
Or, 53.
Yeah, publish this one.
I think it's kind of self-evident, isn't it? Want to, again, just raise it?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, what number is that, please?
It's,
53.
Thank you.
53 for the record, T-shirt.
Were you also given other items of clothing from the victim?
Yes, I was.
I'm going to show you an item directly for that item.
Yes, I did.
What is that item?
This is a black sweatshirt that I received for this case.
Okay, and we open that up.
Yep.
Did you examine that item?
Yes, I did.
And what is that item?
It is a navy blue hooded sweatshirt with, it also has some red on it as well.
No, I think I grabbed the wrong box, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's a request.
You recognize that item?
Yes, I did.
And what is that item?
It's a item number 1, which is a black jacket that I had examined.
I'll use your suggestion this time. You recognize that item, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
And what is that item?
This is item number 1 that I had received for this case.
Okay, and did you do any testing on that?
Yes, I did. I tested a representative area for the presence of blood.
And what was the results of that?
It was positive.
I'd ask that this be marked as the next exhibit.
Objection? No. Please mark it.
54, Your Honor,
May I
that
very briefly publish
black
this?
jacket.
Yes.
when you were examining this jacket, did you notice anything about the hooded area?
There is a hole in the exterior hooded area, the exterior of the hood, excuse me.
In fact, there's several holes. Is that right?
Yes, there's one right there as well. And then there's
Top,
one.
and then there's one at the back.
Yes.
And they go all the way through?
There are two that are through and through.
And that's just to publish those briefly, Your Honor. Maybe a good time to take a break now.
Jurors, we'll see everyone at 2 o'clock. We'll take our lunch break now.
All rise. Jurors, if you don't have a chair, step down, follow me, please.